It's Overpass in front though from Oscar's Fortune, Amelia's Jewel. Overpass, too good for them again, and they ram home another one in the Quokka.
They're back. Bjorn Baker and the King of the West, Overpass, will again run for Ram Racing in their slot in the Kia Quokka on April 26. Jaike Altieri joins me to preview. Jake, they've taken out the first two editions of the race and they're perfectly poised shooting for the three-peat.
Yeah, they are, Ethan. We've spoken about Overpass a lot in our other profiles so far, but the paperwork's finally been lodged and he gets a show of his own.
Spot on, Jake. He's certainly been the measuring stick for a lot of our previews so far, and deservedly so. He's 4 from 4 over the Ascot 1200 metres and heads to this year's Quokka with a proven winning formula.
Yeah, he'll come into the Quokka off a 21-day break. That's the same length that we saw him win the Winterbottom Stakes in November, though he does come into this second up as opposed to third up into the Winterbottom Stakes, but he ran a peak equaling 122 rating in the TJ Smith Stakes just at his last start.
Jake, and we will touch on that TJ Smith Stakes in just a moment, but first I want to bring up this graphic that shows the absolute tear the Bjorn Baker stable have been on this season, with the stats suggesting Overpass's Winterbottom Stakes win perhaps kick-started Bjorn's Brat Summer. Yeah,
we've dubbed him Air Bjorn in the Racing and Sports office, and rightfully so, as the graphic shows. Went on a very hot streak through the summer months, and while the form has waned a touch, the races at this time of the year are much harder to win, but he's still winning as much as the market expects him to, Bjorn.
Now, Jake, for the viewers at home, those numbers shown may not appear overly impressive at first glance, but contextually, for a trainer to meet market expectation, it's a pretty great achievement in itself, and to let alone nearly double it, now that's just impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. They're the trainers and jockeys that us punters want to find, the ones that are beating the market expectation, and the market hasn't got a strong hold of yet. We see that with James McDonald every weekend, where we pay the JMac tax in Sydney or Hong Kong or wherever else he's riding. But the trainers and jockeys such as Bjorn, and as we can see on the graphic too, Team Williams, that continually beat the market, they're the ones that us punters want to find.
And Jake, it is a good line of comparison there to compare the Grant Alana Williams racing team to Bjorn's hot run, because Grant Alana probably are Perth's premier stable at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, we can go down to the pub and talk to anyone about Grant and Alana. They know William Pike and the team that they have combined together as well. So the graphic exactly shows that, and that's why Bjorn and Team Williams constantly have punters gravitating towards them, because they continually beat the market.
And Jake, we'll touch on that TJ Smith Stakes run now, and what a super effort it was by Overpass, finishing second here. And mate, it's the premier race coming into the contest, so let's take a look at the replay.
Yeah, he's just a good horse, isn't he, Ethan? It took the whole Randwick Straight for a highly touted one to run him down, and he ran to 122 on that occasion, equaling his peak rating as we mentioned earlier on, and that's only slightly better than what it took to win the Quokka and the Winterbottom Stakes last year.
So Jake, he launches into his third Kia Quokka off a peak matching rating of 122, like you mentioned, suggesting he's probably at the top of his game, but his second up record may raise a few eyebrows, with some maybe thinking that's where he's vulnerable.
Yeah, look, he does only boast the one win from 7 second up attempts, but he's probably a more consistent horse now than he was in his earlier days, and saying that there were a few excuses in his previous second up runs as well. I mean, I know that I'm hoping that's the thread that some punters try to pull, or pundits try to pull with Overpass, because I'm hoping for a better price on race day.
So Jake, it seems like you're firmly in the corner of Team Overpass three-peat.
Look, we've said before on these profiles that here at Racing and Sports we're slaves to the numbers, and if you've watched these before, you would see that Overpass is clearly the one to beat. We've used him as the pinnacle a number of times now. I'd be a silly man to go against what the numbers are telling me, and I'll be very shocked if he doesn't start close to even money in the Kia Quokka.
Well, that's the two-time defending champ Overpass, who will again run for Ram Racing in their slot in the $5 million Kia Quokka on April 26. Stay tuned to Racing WA, 7plus and Racing and Sports social media channels to hear more runner profiles as they get announced.
It's Overpass in front though from Oscar's Fortune, Amelia's Jewel. Overpass, too good for them again, and they ram home another one in the Quokka.